Alright, it's time for Rammus. I know there's been a lot of Rammus this past 2 months. I've actually found success playing him anyways. Because, surprisingly, not a lot of people know how to deal with it, or, that he's gonna fucking crush you and destroy you. One thing that Rammus does do really well is pretty much punish that one dude who gets out of position. Hit him with your slow, taunt him back, or taunt him first, drag him out of the defense of their turrets, and then you just use your roly-poly mode and smack them up. One thing you'll notice a lot in this game is that I taunt people when they're under the tower. The thing about that is it doesn't aggro because you don't do any damage to them. Unless you have your W up, of course, so sometimes you can just go walk up to people because they're not paying attention, drag them back out of the tower range or to your teammates and have them blow up your opponents. So, either way, runes and masteries. Attack speed red, armor yellow, magic resistance blue, scaling, movement speed quints, 921 0 masteries. So here comes the first gank for me. Notice how I use my taunt. I wasn't sure if Thresh was going to pull some bullshit with flashing and then lanterning the Lucian, so I waited until Lucian burned his flash and tried to escape, and I flashed forward for him and taunted him back. So we get a kill here, and my teammate up top also got a kill, forbidding us from getting the first blood. Kind of sad. Now, as far as Rammus goes, why is he bad? Well, for starters, his stats suck. I mean, it's a balance issue, right? Can't give him a lot of HP or a lot of tank stats because his W is really, really strong. So they have to, remove some of his some of the stats from his some of his base stats in order to compensate. It's fine, but the fact that everybody else has gap closers or is really, really fat now kind of weakens Rammus in a way. Nonetheless, as you can see, I'm having kind of good success here. My opponents don't have a lot of mobility in the lane. I mean, the Maokai can snare at somebody and Syndra can knock people back, but in the Orianna can use her her ball to slow me and have some mobility for movement speed, but honestly, they don't have too much, and Rammus just punishes laners that don't have those gap closers. So Rammus is a great pick, and even better so, the enemy Warwick is somebody who should never get a successful ult as long as I'm around. Roly-poly mode, which is stop his ultimate flat out, and my Tom, which is remove him. And which is the case here. My Syndra teammate keeps pushing on the Orianna, and the Orianna here has low health. Now notice one thing, the Orianna isn't leaving. The second Syndra gets her ultimate, Orianna will pretty much just insta-die. The Orianna begins to play aggressive right now, notice it. She pushes out these minions and actually goes against the Syndra. This means Warwick is just kind of sitting by, so I kind of wait around here. I was going to try to go all the way around and wait into the bush, but turns out the Warwick attacked earlier and I stopped his ultimate from killing the Syndra. That's what I mean. Roly-poly mode will be the end of this Warwick. I kind of said his name wrong there. Nonetheless, yeah. Rammus, in a weird way, he's not like a direct counter to Warwick, but he's an annoyance factor to Warwick. It's just there's two really dumb ways you can stop him, and if you're going roly-poly mode, he can't ult you either because his ultimate's just gonna get stopped. It's kind of funny. And in the fun ways, Rammus can counter combo champions, like not entirely, but just one guy. Like, oh, you're in the chain of your combo, I'm gonna taunt you, and just for 2 seconds you can't do anything. Though, of course, that goes for most CCs anyways now, does it? But with Rammus, you'll taunt somebody, and then before the taunt ends, you'll use roly-poly mode to knock them up. And the cooldowns of your abilities are pretty much just in your favor, so you constantly keep casting your taunt or roly-poly mode. I call it roly-poly mode because spinny ball of death is kind of dumb. The game is so far pretty even. You can see what build I'm going. I'm going straight out health, mostly because my W will keep me alive. But now I have to build something like Locket of the Iron Solari to protect my teammates. The enemy team, except with the exception of Lucian, is primarily AP. And Lucian, if I taunt him, he'll be a non-factor for my teammates. And here's what I mean. Like, no matter what mobility ability Orianna might try to surmise, she's pretty much trapped as long as I catch her. Or Syndra catches her with anything else. In the background you hear some beeping, ignore it. It's a gigantic ass trash mobile and it's fucking summer and the trash is smelling, so they have to kind of constantly bring in the truck. Anyways, Vayne dies and Karma runs off. Syndra shows up, so the enemy team is gonna want to go for Dragon. Though we're here to stop them just in case. I activate roly-poly mode. And I'm gonna see if I can steal the dragon. Too bad I get there a little bit out of range. My teammates pretty much just get imploded, and we lose whatever advantage we had, or at least we still technically have a small advantage, but not as much as I have. But in the game, we didn't really know. You know, I think Riot should kind of give us a way to see if we have a gold advantage or not. Because I mean, look, the enemy team has 8 kills, but we have more gold advantage. I think Riot should kind of implement it. Anyways, we taunt the Maokai, who was just kind of lingering by, and he gets himself murdered. I love Rammus' taunt. It's one of the most bullshit moves in the game. Though, it's debatable as to which is much more of a stupid ability. Veigar stun, the taunt from Rammus, or the Fiddlesticks' Q. Anyways, they initiate on us, and once again, Warwick really just can't get anything off because he gets stopped by roly-poly mode as soon as he tries anything. And here, I'm just, you know, how many times, I mean, go back into the start of this fight. I died, but you got to see that I used my CC multiple times. Go back and watch that. Just see how, like, I taunted anybody that got near me, and I didn't attack them, so I wouldn't attract tower damage or anything. And then as soon as my taunt ended, I used my roly-poly mode and knocked him up. And then, you know, constantly kept doing back and forth. During the Maokai thing, I hit him with Q, then I taunted him, then I went away from his circle, went back in when my cooldowns were back. That's one way Rammus functions here. If you're going full tank Rammus, your damage is pitiful unless you know they're just deciding to suicide upon you with your W up. So one thing with, I mean, your ultimate is really good damage, that's for sure. But if you don't have it, you I kind of try to go in and out with Rammus and just abusing my CC instead of trying to stay in the fray and fight, because there's no reason the enemy team is even going to attack me, and there's not a lot of damage that I can do. So right now, 15-15, the team is pretty even, and again, we couldn't really tell if we had more gold advantage, but we kind of figured it at this point because we were just pushing them out, to oblivion. Look at my build. Like I said, I'm building Locket of the Iron Solari. It's pretty much perfect against the enemy team, and the cooldown reduction helps out tremendously. At this point, while we were playing the game, I just felt there was absolutely nothing the enemy team could do. The enemy team pretty much picked themselves into a rut. Look at them. Their team is composed of mostly support-like champions, except Lucian. Warwick, too, is pretty supportive and everything. And here, once again, you kind of saw the chain CC going on Maokai where he couldn't do anything, and it was really hard to kill. But as I was saying, the enemy team's damage is absolutely pitiful. And even a tank like Rammus will just pretty much shrug everything off. I'll go in, I'll try to get Lucian killed, or Orianna if she hasn't used anything. And then the rest of their team won't be able to do any damage whatsoever. To be honest, the enemy team comp is really, really bad. I mean, look, I catch Warwick. We catch all of them. It's like they really cannot even fight us. Warwick goes in and he just pretty much gets destroyed. Flash forward, grab the Orianna, she gets wrecked too. I mean, yeah, my teammates played well, and to be honest, the enemy team played well too. It's just their team comp is pretty much not effective as a whole. They would have been better off with a carry jungler, or if Maokai was in the jungle, a top lane that could deal damage. Again, they just have absolutely no damage. And look at this. I'm very low on health, and they really just can't do anything. Of course, the Orianna thing misses, and I'm gonna turn around, I activate Locket, and I let my Q run out, not on purpose, and I just taunted someone to make sure to CC him down. It's like, I just can't die, though of course I'm focusing my teammates down as well. It's just, look, it took a lot of effort to even kill just one of my teammates. Now, I'm not saying that, team composition is all that matters. Player skill does matter. But the moral of this story is, if your team is sort of picking themselves into a hole, don't pick something else that's just going to make this situation even worse. They needed someone else that could do damage, someone else that could tear my team apart. But they didn't have it, and therefore their team comp sort of failed as a mid-phase started rolling in.